Okay, I'll call to order the meeting of the DuPage County Community Development Commission, and can we have a roll call of all members in attendance?
Consuelo Arguelles, Kurt Barrett, Don Bastian,
Here.
Karen Briggs,
Here.
Cindy Cahill, Liz Chaplin, Lori Chassie,
Here.
Michael Childress,
Here.
Sadia Covert, Michael Crandall,
Here.
Dawn Desart,
Here.
Grant Eckhoff,
Here.
Lucy Evans,
Here.
Janine Farrell,
Here.
Eileen France, Mark France, Vijay Gadi, Carrie Galassi, Paula Garcia,
Here.
Kathleen Gargano, Sean Gascoigne,
Here.
Daniel Bombeck, Shubra Govin, Patty Guston,
Here.
Sean Halloran, Melissa Headley, William Hennett,
Here.
Tracy Jones,
Here.
Brian Korchewski, Lynn LaPlante,
Here.
Mark McLaughlin, John Mendel, Mary Ozog, Kalisha Page, Gosha Pacheha,
Here.
Doug Pollack, Stan Popovich, Curtis Poske,
Here.
Sheila Rutledge,
Here.
Greg Schwarzy,
Here.
Michael Smetana,
Here.
Christy Stone, Mike Todorovic,
Here.
Sam Tornatore, Dana Yu,
Here.
James A.
Cindy Cahill is now here. Members Cahill and Galassi are.
And confirming we have a quorum.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda, public comment. We've not received anything for the committee meetings. Anyone in attendance wants to speak on a matter? Okay, seeing none. Minutes for the Community Development Commission regular meeting of Tuesday, April 5th, 2022. That is correct. That is actually the last meeting from last April. This is the meeting of the whole. So it will again be for everyone present to vote. So I'll be looking for a motion, a second. to approve.
I'm sorry, who was?
Guston and you. Oh, Evans.
Guston and, no. Guston and.
I think it was me, but.
It was Lori Chassie who.
Okay.
Yeah, was.
You're welcome.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next item will require a vote. Approval of the FY 2023 State of Officers and Community Development Commission Executive Committee as presented. There is a memo with the recommendation of the committee members. Does staff have any comments?
No, we have a couple of new county board members as well as municipal members. And so I just want to welcome those of you who are new to the committee. Looking forward to working with everybody, assuming that the vote goes. Nail biter.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and we'll do a vote on this one.
Here we go. Your second? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Patty Guston,
Yes.
Lynn LaPlante,
Aye.
Don Bastian,
Yes.
Karen Briggs,
Yes.
Cindy Cahill,
Aye.
Lori Chassie,
Aye.
Michael Childress,
Yes.
Michael Crandall,
Aye.
Dawn Desart,
Aye.
Grant Eckhoff,
Aye.
Lucy Evans,
Aye.
Janine Farrell.
Aye.
Carrie Galassi, Galassi,
Aye.
Paula Garcia,
Aye.
Sean Gascoigne,
Aye.
William Hennett,
Aye.
Tracy Jones,
Aye.
Gosha Pacheha,
Aye.
Curtis Poske,
Aye.
Sheila Rutledge,
Aye.
Greg Schwarzy,
Aye.
Michael Smetana,
Aye.
Mike Todorovic, Yana Yu,
Aye.
and did I miss anybody?
Well, a couple final comments. I'd like to thank all of the past members of the CDC over the past year. So all the ones that are here this morning relative to proceedings. This is an important committee. You know, I think a lot of work, good hard work has been done over the past year. So I thank all of the municipal members and the county board members and the public that have participated the past year. Maybe just as important or maybe even more important based on my bias, I do thank the DuPage County staff. You guys work very hard, make things here move that much simpler. So I'm going to do a shout out to all of you to help make this committee run as smoothly as possible. And since Lynn was gracious enough to pass the baton to me last year, and in light of this vote just now, I'm going to give the baton back and look forward to another year of working with the CEC.
Thank you. This fun. Thank you for that peaceful transition of power. I'm going to echo both of their comments, which is just gratitude towards the staff and welcome aboard to our new members and our new vice chair, Lori Chassie, welcome. And I look forward to another really productive year on this committee. It is very, very vital and important work. And one of our goals is to shine a light on everything that we do on this committee. So please take all the work that we're doing here and shout it from the rooftops. It's really, this is I would call it maybe the heart and soul, the work that we do here at the county. So thank you very much for everything, and let's move on. Item 5B, 23-1410. I move to approve the recommendation for approval of Community Development Block Grant CARES Act CDBG-CV agreement with DuPage County Kenneth Moy DuPage Care Center. Air handling units, project number CDC V2101 for a total award amount of $1,900,000. This is a COVID item, and we just need a voice vote here. So, pardon me.
Quick question.
Sure.
Now that we have the first and the second.
Yes.
This is $1 million item, $1.9 million item, which is very needed. The only question I had for staff, is there like a warranty on it or something like that to make sure that we get, that everything is working and that it continues to work and that we take care of the people we need to take care of?
Sure. I will turn that question to Tim Harbaugh, who's head of facilities. Because facilities is actually who handles the actual work and the contract.
A traditional warranty on this type of equipment is 1 year. That's from the point of use when it starts being activated.
Do they give, yeah,
Oh, please.
do they give an extended warranty of any part of that or any also?
The warranty, that would be like a car that's all inclusive. Then you can have other warranties for individual items that go after that, but that's for the entire unit and it's when it goes in, and that's a date that the two parties agree on. That would be the county agreeing on that with the installer.
And
It's not when the work is done, it's when you put it into use.
right, so it's a year.
Correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
That actual contract will go to county board, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So
It-
this
it
is
has-
approving the funding.
It
There will
can't be bid until your actions are completed, but both here and at the board. Sorry, Mary, that's what you taught me.
Okay, you're welcome. Thank you for that question. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That motion passes. Next, we move to item 6, which is informational. I move to receive and place on file item CD 21-15 DuPage Care Center air handling units, second time extension to extend the project completion date through April 30th, 2023.
Second.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, I just want to mention something. So the reason that this is just an informational item is that last month, this would have been the only item on the agenda. And about a year or so ago, we created a policy that said time extensions, a simple time extension with no other changes to the terms of the contract could go through Human Services and the county board without having to convene the Community Development Commission Executive Committee. So it's just a matter of convenience. We didn't, particularly for the municipal members, we don't want folks to have to come into the building for a simple time extension. So, but the policy then requires us to just inform the Community Development Commission of the action that was taken.
Thank you. Are there any other questions on this item? We have a motion and a second, so just a voice vote, all in favor? Any opposed? Thank you, that motion passes. Next, we're going to move to an informational item, which is the 2022 project highlights, and I turn it over to our very own Mary Keating.
Thank you. For those of you, particularly, hopefully the county board members all know who I am, but for the municipal members who may not know who I am, I'm Mary Keating. I'm Director of Community Services here at the county. And the Community Development Division falls within my department. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about 2022 and also some exciting things happening in 2023. The first, county board members are certainly aware of this. I want to make sure municipal members are aware that the county has created an ad hoc committee on housing solutions to really look at affordable housing, workforce housing, looking at the sort of what the county can do to make sure that the housing stock in DuPage County really meets the needs of a broad breadth of our residents. The first meeting will be next Tuesday, the 11th at 1 o'clock. And then continuing, it'll be that second Tuesday of the month at 1 o'clock. All those meetings will be live streamed. It's a committee of the whole, so all board members are invited to participate. The county has set aside $2.5 million in our state and local fiscal recovery funds as sort of some seed money to assist with this initiative. The first on the agenda at the first meeting, which will be next week, will basically be an overview of the Community Development Commission, the county's history of affordable housing projects that we have funded, how we fund them, how we make our funding decisions. So CDC work will be front and center at that first meeting. Hey, Kurt. I wanted to talk about a couple of major projects that happened in 2022. I think the biggest one, the one that I feel had, just a gigantic impact on quality of life in the county is the PADS Hotel. So we provided $3 million of CDBG CD, so that's the special coronavirus CDBG allocation that we got, as well as the county provided $2 million in our state and local fiscal recovery funds, the ARPA funds, to help DuPage PADS purchase the old Red Roof Inn on Butterfield in Downers Grove. Since then, 742 individuals have come through the interim housing center. That includes 305 families who have come in and then moved on to stable housing, which is, I think, remarkable. They've seen a significant increase in the number of families that they serve, as opposed to the old PADS model, which was sort of the night-by-night shelter. Families just were not accessing that resource, I think, for probably some understandable reasons, but the opportunity to have your family behind a closed door and have that privacy and that dignity, families are seeking out that opportunity. All told, if you count one night of shelter for one person, the total number of nights of shelter provided in the last year was 112,703. So
Can you say that number again?
112,703. That's talk about tremendous impact on those families. So I think I know as member of the plant pointed out, when the county moved this forward, the Community Development Commission was the first committee to take a vote on moving that project forward, and so we're really pleased and proud, and one of the most impactful projects I think we've ever done with our HUD funds. A couple of the other major projects that we did in 2022 included water main improvements in Glendale Heights, some street resurfacing in Addison. We helped United Cerebral Palsy Seguin Services purchase a SILA, which is a community integrated living arrangement for individuals with disabilities. We helped Almost Home Kids do some capital improvements. Almost Home Kids, for those of you who may not be familiar, they do medical respite for medically fragile kids, providing a tremendous resource for the families of medically fragile children. We did generator replacement over at the care center. We cleared, we had a fairly significant backlog in our single-family rehab program, and one of our newer staff came on and really has done a really nice job of getting those cleared out. All of that led to us meeting our HUD timeliness ratio, which is a very important measure. So before our, I think 60 days before our program year starts, HUD does a calculation. We can have no more than 1.5 times our annual allocation available to spend. And what that is really, it's a measure of how quickly are you getting those funds out into the community. So 1.5 is the required ratio. We were at 1.44, so we were easily under. It was kind of touch and go for a couple of months there. We weren't sure we were going to make it, but particularly for some projects at the care center that really came through and got that work done, we made that timeliness ratio. It's not just, sort of a number. It also sends a message to Congress that these funds are important and that they get out into the community. So kudos to staff. In addition to all of those sort of big capital projects, we had projects in public services for in CDBG and CDBG CV. We had emergency solutions grants funding, both regular and CV, and we had home affordable housing partnership projects going on. So 2022 was a huge year, and I just want to give kudos to our staff, many of whom are sitting over there. Julie Hamlin, the manager of the unit, Tom Schwartman, Omina Beg, Ashley Miller, Chloe Harrington, Jake McFarland, Amish Kadakia, Marge Fletcher, and our newest member, Alyssa. Is it Jage? How do you pronounce Alyssa's last name? JG. It's J-A-J-E, so JG. We poached Alyssa from a downstate county, so she had CDBG and home experience, so we were pretty excited to have her join. So I want to just acknowledge all the community development staff. They do a tremendous job. If you're here, give a wave.
Yeah, can you stand up, please?
Many others are probably logged in, zooming in. So thank you again. Really tremendous work. Coming up this year and probably over the next couple of years, some in addition to I think providing support and input to the county's Affordable Housing Solutions Committee. We'll be starting to look at our next consolidated plan, which is, it'll be due in 2024, but that work will start in late 2023 and be really kicking in 2024, which is the process that we have to go through every 5 years to determine the needs for, what's the best way to invest our community development funds from HUD. And then we develop sort of a 5-year goal. So we'll be working on that. We're also working on, so as part of the American Rescue Plan Act, we received additional home funds, 6.5 million, somewhere around there. And so the staff did a huge needs assessment and planning process along with those funds. And so we'll be looking to work with developers on developing what we identified as the highest priority is multifamily rental housing. There's a shortage of about 16,000 units of affordable rental housing. $6 million isn't going to get us anywhere near that number, but it really is. It does prioritize the work that we'll need to do. And then something else to be on the radar. If you follow HUD or the news, the Biden administration has released new rules around affirmatively furthering fair housing. And so there's additional work that we'll need to do on planning. It's currently called the equity plan. It really looks at what's the historic practice of housing development, how does housing development impact fair housing issues, making sure individuals have access to housing throughout the county. So they're rolling it out. The large entitlements, places like LA County, will be the first ones that have to get this work done. But it's something we'll be keeping a close eye on. It will really give us an opportunity to do additional needs assessment around fair housing. But that'll be some planning work that we'll be beginning probably. We'll be paying attention to it all along the way, but I think in late 23, 2024, we'll be probably developing our plan for how are we going to attack this. So that's kind of what's going on in community development. Those of you who have not heard, Dave McDermott has left the county. So we will be most likely posting that position shortly. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Member Preston, yes.
Thank you. Mary, do you have a coordination between HUD's housing that they're financing and that they're developing in DuPage County? So you kind of know what HUD is doing on their end as far as building new affordable housing through private development, and then really kind of, you know, work together to find out what areas in DuPage County doesn't have the affordable apartment housing, because they are doing projects, and I know a lot of their transactions are moving forward and getting funded and things like that. But having them all in the same spot doesn't always work.
It would depend on which project you're talking about. So developers working directly with HUD and not coming through an entitlement, I think that would be, those would be the specific funds for projects for individuals, seniors and individuals with disabilities. I think it's called the, I don't know if anybody from CD can help me out, section 211, I think. So I'm not, so
like project-based type.
those would be about, that would be
Yeah.
a voucher. So
Okay.
those project-based would be a voucher program that would go through the housing authority. So and those are operating funds. So typically, if a developer is developing affordable housing, they are getting funding, capital funding from IDA or from us. And then operating funding could come in the form of a contract with HUD or with the housing authority. So in terms of capital projects, we pretty much know the projects that are going on. I talked with Kristen Faust, who's the executive director of IDA, the Illinois Housing Development Authority, spoke to the county board last month. But she and I had a really good conversation about making sure that any developer who's going to IDA for tax credits, who's in DuPage County, they will make sure that that developer talks to us as well, and sort of vice versa. So it doesn't happen very often, but it does happen from time to time that a developer will apply to IDA, and we haven't been aware of it. Now, if they don't need funding from us, that's fine. But you know, we're happy to talk to any developer who's interested in seeking funds from us.
Any other questions or comments on the awesome work that we did in 2022? Okay, seeing none. Thank you so much, Mary. Sure. That was a great overview, and it really shows the breadth and scope of the work that we do here on this committee. For those of you who are new to this committee, and the importance of the work. I mean, I just think that number, I'm going to say it again, 112,703. That's an amazing, amazing number of people that have been served and helped, and that is a direct result of the work from the staff, this committee, and this board. So this is very, very, very tangible good works that we're doing, and we should all feel very proud and excited to continue. Moving on, do we have any other business? Does anyone have anything else? Seeing none, I move to adjourn today's meeting, and our next meeting date will be April 2nd, 2024.
So moved.
Okay, see you all in a year. Thank you very much to all of our community partners that came out today.